The Spirit in the Body by Robert Crosbie. Letter 2. You were right in saying that our relations are as they are by reason of that which has been, undoubtedly, but I would not have you look on me in the light of a spiritual guru. Think of me as kindly as you will, but do not place me on any pedestal. Let me be a pilot who will be most glad to help with any charts and guidance. In reality, the masters are those to whom we should turn our thoughts in meditation. They are the bridge, as WQJ says in one of the letters. I do not mean by all this that I think you were placing me in a position where none but the blessed masters should be placed, but I am saying these things so that you may see that it is not the best thing to rely upon any living person, I mean to the extent of idealizing him, for if such an one should be swept into seeming darkness for a time, its effect would not be good and might dishearten. I am glad to know that you are so full of the idea of work for humanity. Those who are really touched by the inner fire are usually so, and it is a good sign. The desire to be and to do comes out strongly and clears the way for the true and permanent growth with its expansion and retardation, which means growth and solidification, necessary processes as we see two kinds of trees, one of which denudes itself entirely and remains expressionless for a large part of its cycle, and another which slowly and continually renews itself in every part, never ceasing to give expression, and often holding in evidence the old leaf, the new leaf, the blossom and the fruit. Both of these are nature's processes. Speaking of those who have fallen by the wayside, it is quite true that the greater the height the greater the effort to preserve equilibrium, but this applies particularly when the height is an intellectual rather than a spiritual one, and where the motive is tinged with a desire for self-advancement regardless of the paramount duty to selves. Very often the ostensible motive is not the real one, and in this we frequently deceive ourselves. Ambition also comes in. The desire for the approbation of our fellows may cloud our vision in our effort to maintain it. There are many temptations, some of which may come disguised as angels of light. Our best safeguard is an unselfish desire to benefit others, with no anxiety about our own progress, while striving all the time to make ourselves the better able to help and teach others. There are two doctrines spoken of in the wisdom religion, viz., the doctrine of the eye, or head, and the doctrine of the heart. The doctrine of the eye is the intellectual one, the doctrine of the heart is spiritual, where knowledge springs up spontaneously within. It is this latter which you crave, and which I can assure you Theosophy will lead you to. There is no need to grope, nor stagger, nor stray, for the chart that has led many to the goal is in your hands in the philosophy of Theosophy. And let me say here to you, do not be too anxious, abide the time when your own inner demands shall open the doors, for those great ones who I know exist see every pure-hearted earnest disciple, and are ready to give a turn to the key of knowledge when the time in the disciple's progress is ripe. No one who strives to tread the path is left unhelped. The great ones see his light, and he is given what is needed for his better development. That light is not mere poetical imagery, but is actual, and its character denotes one's spiritual condition. There are no veils on that plane of seeing. The help must be of that nature which leaves perfect freedom of thought and action, otherwise, the lessons would not be learned. Mistakes will occur, perhaps many of them, but, as is said, 20 failures are not irremediable if followed by as many undaunted struggles upward. The help will come for the most part in ordinary ways and from one or another of the companions with whom you were possibly connected in other lives, and whom your soul will recognize. The Great White Lodge exists for the service of humanity. They need and welcome workers in the world. Is it strange, then, that the light of souls attracted toward the path of unselfishness should receive their cognition, and when deserved, when needed such succor as karma permits? They, themselves, have written, ingratitude is not one of our vices, and while we may not claim gratitude from them, Yet we may be sure that compassion absolute is there, and with it the understanding of the nature and needs of each aspirant. There may, and there often does come a time when one feels, as you say, like standing on nothing, in nothing and about to topple over. The center of consciousness has been changed, old landmarks are slipping away, and sometimes black doubt ensues. Doubt and fear belong only to the personal consciousness, the real perceiver. The higher ego has neither. The Gita says, cast aside all doubt and fight on. You may remember what Judge says in one of the letters, likening such condition to the case of one on a strange path and suddenly surrounded by a fog. The way is obscured, danger may lie in any direction, the thing to do is to stand still and wait, for it is only a fog, and fogs always lift. And never for one moment think that you are not going on with your journey. It is well for us if we can always have deep down in our heart of hearts the consciousness of the nearness of masters. By their very nature they must be near to every true aspirant. May I add one word to you, as a friend and brother, make clean and clear, first, the mental conceptions and perceptions, the rest will follow naturally, there will be no destruction, the undesirable will die a natural death. Grow as the flowers grow, from within outwards.